all I'm going to say is I'm very happy. I'm getting the intro out after Monday night because, I mean, we just had one of the biggest movements in the NFL in at least 20 years. I mean, Steelers are now going to be on to their fourth coach in franchise history, or not franchise history, since 1969. That's just absolutely insane. We'll cover that towards the end of this, but yeah, we got a lot of stuff to get into again. Crazy wildcard weekend.
Looking, throwing, over Nakua's head, and broken up! Nakua turned into a DB. Who's thrown it before? Going deep at McCaffrey. He's got it! Touchdown 49ers, but they're going towards the end zone. Parkinson! What a catch! And a touchdown! Leads 11 over the middle. Tip.
Oh no! We suck again!
Looking to take away the upset.
Get off the field. And again, just a little colorful with this star wideout. They have a great relationship. It kind of makes a lot of that.
To take a 3-0 lead. 55, and it's a kick that is no good this time. Love will go to the air and dumps it off to extra point. And that kick is no good. The Green Bay Packers to try to make it 6-0. Kick is no good. Speeding furiously. Rock. Love looking. One last gasp. Moving eyes around. Fires to the end zone, and it is broken up. The Bears win it in a crazy one.
With this 4-5 matchup, the LA Rams, the 5 seed, come to town to take on the 4 seed Carolina Panthers. May. Going to be Stafford or May. Head-to-head for MVP. Going end zone. Poking Nakua, and just like that, Los Angeles is on the board. Looks to throw. First read taken away. Rips it over the middle, and it's picked off. Kobe Durant, the interception.
The MVP candidate quarterback.
Look out for Devontae Adams down here. They give it to Puka Nakua, though, and Nakua breaks tackles and gets his second touchdown. Here comes Hubbard. Straight into the end zone for the Panther touchdown. From 46. Right down the middle for the thick. Fair catch taken by Etienne. Oh, and he lost the ball. The Rams are on top of it. Blitz is coming. Stafford looking to run for the first down. Instead, lets it go, and it's broken up. 47-yard line, 1st and 10. Young, lofting, perfect pass. Got room. Bryce Young tucks it, runs. Bryce Young, touchdown. 3rd and 10. Stafford going long. Puka Nakua off his hands and incomplete. Florida State Ryan Fitzgerald in his first postseason kick has tied the game. The Rams retake the lead. Once Adams, it's picked off. Mike Jackson makes his mark again. Steps up, lets it fly. He's got Coker. Jalen Coker stops and starts. 1st and goal, Carolina. Straight ahead, over the goal line, touchdown Carolina, Panthers lead. Stafford has Williams, Kyron Williams puts the Rams back in front. Coming after it and blocking it. Carolina's blocked the punt. This Canales is, blitz comes, Young, corner of the end zone. A touchdown, a Panther lead. Tackle you're talking about. Last chance. Young, it's dropped, and it's over. Jimmy Horn drops it, and the Rams survive.
And with that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Fun NFL. Please like and subscribe. Hope you guys are ready to get through all these wild card games, I guess is the best way to put it. Just preface, guys, I'm recording the Saturday game reactions and the first Sunday game on Sunday. So, like, again, I was debating doing the Eagles game, but I want to kind of, take some time because, again, there's a lot of things that I want to get through because I was a little a bit perplexed by the Eagles' offense in that game. Again, they've obviously been disappointing, but we'll get to that game when we need to. Just for context, guys, the first 3 games will be recorded on Sunday. All the reactions, all the takeaways, all the stuff I have from that. Again, also Bills-Jags, don't have the film on that, obviously, because the game literally just happened. But I do have film on these Panthers in these first 2 games, which is good, which I got through, obviously. But Bills-Jags probably the only game out of all these that I want to have actual, like, true breakdowns on right up here. But at the same time, I'm doing my best here. I want to get these out to you guys right on Tuesday, just telling y'all. But anyways, as you guys saw kicking off the playoffs, the Los Angeles Rams were able to survive in Charlotte, North Carolina as they move on, knocking off the Panthers 34-31, and was really a really nice game to open the playoffs. I will say that Rams' performance, in my estimation, was way worse than they should have played, but at the same time, in a place where they, especially what was, again, history repeats itself. That's what it was looking towards, as they, again, built up a 14-0 lead as their defense came out to a really strong start. Puka Nacua obviously was the head of that, at least on the offense side of the ball. Then the Rams' offense just couldn't really do much of anything in terms of really taking this game over, and they ended up going up in the half, only up by 3. Third quarter came around, their offense continued to struggle. They were able to get into field goal range, which was, again, a saving grace in this one for them. Fourth quarter, things kind of went wild, and then, again, Stafford did his thing. Defense closed the game out. That's how they ended up winning it. And, again, when we talk about the playoffs, guys, especially at this point, in Matt Stafford's career, it's really just about surviving and advancing. This was not a game that you were really looking, again, this was a game you were looking the Rams to completely just destroy the Panthers. That's not what happened. We'll get into why that was, but at the end of the day, guys, just a normal overall takeaway. The Rams showed that they, again, as they have by multiple points this season, even in a place where they have had their struggles early in the season. We saw them Week 13 versus this same Panthers team, which we'll get into kind of the differing aspects of these 2 games and how it juxtaposes that even that Falcons game, if we talk about the NFC South opponents that the Rams have struggled in here. But, again, we're going to get through all that. But as you guys did see, Rams, as the 5 seed, went into Carolina and got a big-time W, even though, again, man, guys, Panthers were freaking team losing record. Like, what were you really going to expect there? Same time, though, Rams move on. They will be heading to Chicago next week for, I think, the first game on Sunday, if I had to guess, considering what we've seen, at least in recent history with the NFL divisional round. I could be completely wrong on that, but I know they will be being in Chicago next weekend, more likely than not with an extra day off. With that said, though, Rams had to travel out here to Carolina, did their thing. Stafford, though, in this game, guys, everyone's going to talk about the thumb injury and stuff. Again, the X-rays did come back as negative, which is really good. He didn't break his thumb. I think that will be, not his thumb, his freaking right pointer finger. Again, if you didn't know, Greg Olsen did a great job with this. I'm not great with throwing mechanics. Again, think of a baseball. You throw a curveball, it comes off your finger like this. Well, imagine a football where you're rotating it differently. It's going to come off your left pointer finger. Greg Olsen just got to tell him. Great analysis with that. But, yes, Stafford's right pointer finger again because he throws with his right arm, if you didn't know that. He did something to it. They did X-rays on it. Again, they were negative. So, that's huge. Again, there's no doubt. Statistically, if we're looking at this at an objectively, the completion percentage went way down. Just the overall accuracy, if you look at the advanced metrics, and really what I just saw on film with the ball coming out of his hand, he was less accurate. There's no way around that. But also, his rhythm was completely off in that. Really, after that first 2 drives, his rhythm in the entire game was off. But again, he threw an absolute seed to Colby Parkinson to win the game. So that, again, the notion that, in my opinion at least, especially what I saw, it wasn't off. I will say though, his rhythm and his footwork were just completely out of whack as that game got along, especially in that second and third quarter. Then he started 8 of 8, and then after that, it was really just a mess most of the rest of the game. But again, he's the MVP, guys. Again, oh my God, if he doesn't get it. But anyway, him and Drake May, bro, I don't even know. He's one of the MVP favorites. He showed it, again, I don't know where dipping toes. He's the freaking MVP, and he showed it in this game, guys. Like, again, this obviously doesn't matter towards the MVP, but again, freaking best quarterback in the league right now, guys. You saw it right there. Running game, they didn't run the ball enough. Again, anyone could have said that if you watch this game. I will say that a lot of the situations where they got pass happy were a little bit justified. You look at, again, this Rams offense and how their issues really stemmed in this game. It came from the fact that, again, especially on first down, the explosive run wasn't there. They had like a couple of runs where the offensive line did a really good job. The problem with it is they don't have a guy like Kevin Dotson wasn't out there, so these holes that were still pretty decently sized weren't ones that a guy like, especially a guy like Blake Corum, who is definitely sometimes hesitant in the backfield. Not to the extent that Cam Akers was, which really limited the Rams' running game when he was around. He's not able to just exceptionally explode through those holes. You saw that a lot on tape, especially in that first half, which is why the Rams really couldn't establish a run, especially against the defense. They should have been able to run the ball up and down the field on. Next week in Chicago, and we'll do the predictions and preview for that next week. That is something that the Rams' offensive line is going to have to do better in this one, even though realistically they maintained their blocks and they did create some penetration. I will say, though, Puka's touchdown really, again, displayed his versatility. I think that's something that, again, they should also be using as, again, like a very minor takeaway in this one. But But for the running game, they're going to have to be better than this. Again, the reason I say they got pass happy, again, you look at Stafford and the momentum of this game, you got to just say, again, outside that one drive where we went 0-for-3 and they went 3 and out, that is something. Stafford's a guy where, again, if this offense is, again, they're kind of, again, the momentum swinging, Stafford's a guy to get basically go say, freaking shut that down. And that's what he did most of the time. Obviously, silenced the crowd on that last touchdown drive. But yes, the running game, again, definitely I don't think it was utilized correctly. But again, I'm talking about those pass-happy situations. I wasn't opposed to it, especially in a playoff game, guys. I think, though, if this team is realistically going to be able to, again, especially play complimentary football, again, they don't even need to play complimentary football to win the Super Bowl. I'm just going to be completely honest with you guys. This offense is good enough to do that. But if they're going to be able to do that and get these wins in a little bit more of a sustainable fashion, this running game is going to have to be utilized a lot better on first and second down. Not, again, the first down thing, again, they just weren't explosive enough to really, again, kind of justify that consistently happening, at least in my opinion. But that's what I saw from that. Receiving-wise, Puka, 18 targets. Again, they overutilized him. There's no way around that. But again, I think the fact that, again, a guy like Davis Allen wasn't out there. I don't even think Terrence Ferguson got out there. He definitely didn't play. But Puka, 18 targets. That just can't happen every week. But again, it's the playoffs. You need to get your best players to football. Obviously, that happened. 10 for 111 and a touchdown. Had a big first couple drives after that, kind of faded out of the again, really, the offense there, he dropped a huge pass there as well. But again, Puka, again, he was on J.C. Horn the whole game. Again, J.C. Horn will lock anybody up. So, again, best on best there, Puka still put up his numbers. Devontae, 5 for 72. He looked really good in this game, in my opinion, with his route. Again, his release is always going to be great no matter how injured he is. Again, really just the play speed and the downfield acceleration and closing on the ball is really the only thing that was definitely missing in this game. But guys, I'm telling you, he was winning like off the rip a lot. And even when he wasn't, he was still able to find ways to get open, which I think was really good. But again, coming off the injury, just again, the downfield speed and some of, again, the routes closing on the ball were really the only issues. Especially, again, you look at that Mike Jackson interception. At the same time, he didn't really sell that route well. He even said that. So just keep that in mind there. But overall, I think Devontae looked pretty decent, again, coming back from the injury. But he will need to be definitely step up next week against those Bears, that Bears secondary, which is extremely aggressive and definitely prone to be giving up big plays. Speaking of that, Stafford, again, he threw, I think, 5 legitimate deep passes downfield in this game, which I think was another little bit of an issue in this game. Puka's, that again should have been a touchdown. Devontae's, that was a little bit overthrown, I think, but honestly, I think the better thing, again, I think he did do the best thing he could have there, because, again, I think, what was it? It might have been Lathan Ransom, or no, it was that, no, because Moore goes in the box in that play. Lathan Ransom, if you look at the, it wasn't the All-22, it's the freaking Sky Cam on this, but if you looked at the Sky Cam, which, again, you guys wouldn't have been able to, but basically, Lathan Ransom was playing one high on this play, again, where Devontae missed the deep ball. If Stafford would have just completely lofted that ball, I'm not going to say it would have been an interception, because Ransom, I don't think, was in the right position to literally break it up, but it would have made it harder for Devontae to really adjust to that pass. Again, if you just let that thing get all the air it could have, which is, I think, why I put a little bit more pace on it. But again, with Devontae not really having that full playing speed, it just kind of was an awkward moment. Stafford definitely could have thrown the ball a little bit better, but it wasn't the right spot, all things said, in terms of, again, him reading out that play. On top of that, Colby Parkinson, game-winning touchdown, bro. He was great blocking in this game. He's really, again, we look at the juxtaposition from week 1. Or not that, why am I using that? We look at from week 1 to now, he has gotten better every week. I mean, guys, Colby Parkinson, hats off to him in this one. Tyler Higbee caught a 36-yard pass. It was the biggest play the Rams had all day. He looked pretty good, too. Just some of his routes, he just wasn't getting open. Konate Mumfield got out there as well. He ran some okay routes. But, again, look at this offense. Kind of got to I think diversifying the passing game, going to a guy like Davis Allen a little bit more would be, again, good to see. But, again, they went back to the 11 personnel a lot, which I think was a good, decent game plan. Because if you look at the Rams back in Week 13 against Panthers, yeah, they were able to run the ball, go up and down the field on them. But there were definitely some instances where, again, especially in the red zone, that 13 personnel just wasn't working out. And I like the fact that they kind of just stayed on 11 personnel a lot. And honestly, even though, again, a guy like Konate Mumfield really wasn't getting open a lot, it kind of made this offense look a little bit different than we've seen all season. But especially here against Panthers, it did pay off. I know it's getting a little bit long here. Defensively, everyone's going to talk about the secondary. Yes, they're susceptible to some 50-50 passes. Kel Witherspoon was definitely a victim in this game. Not too much. Rodney McCreary, I think, had a really good game. Everyone's talking about Quentin Lake. Yes, he did not look like he was 100% in terms of the play speed. That was a huge issue for this defensive time. Again, you saw the slot fade to Jalen Coker. But other than that, guys, again, Cam Curl, 10 total tackles. Again, he did get, I guess, technically the go-ahead touchdown there before the Rams came back. But he was very in the box in this game. I think both guys, Omar Spates and Nate Landman, definitely didn't bring their A games. Pass rush it just got, guys weren't winning, right off the bat. Again, it felt like all these guys' first steps were a little bit slow. Really, the only guy I could say that, again, who was consistently getting quick pressure was Poona Ford. Obviously, Jared Burst had his couple of them, but his first step just wasn't there in this game. Byron Young always has his first step, but again, it was really just he wasn't really winning as much as he needed to. I'm going to try to do a deeper chart on him later in the week, but that's what I have for now. Kind of bizarre from Byron Young in that sense. But yeah, Poona Ford was really the only guy that was really impressing me a lot. Braden Fisk kind of came back to his form, though. He looked good. And then just, guys, again, a lot of the secondary's issues stem from the fact that, again, over the middle, they really weren't passing plays off a lot. Manuel Forbes held up way better than they did back in week 13, though, which is really all I wanted to see out of him. Honestly, guys, this defense, I understand a lot of the issues they had, but they held up. They closed out this game at the end of the day, which is honestly what the Rams need to. And again, you look at this Rams offense and the margin for error they give the defense. Again, keeping that in mind, you got to be really happy with what you saw. Biggest takeaway, though, for the Rams, though, in terms of, again, like a sneaky sort of thing, is, yes, the special teams, the block punt was an issue. Again, that definitely, again, shows the Rams still have special teams problems. But, again, Panthers kind of counteracted that with Trevor Etienne muffed punt. But at the same time, you look at Trevor Etienne and, like, again, it didn't really result in anything because the Rams went out on that fourth down. Not trying to break down too much. I know this is going to be this will probably be like a 13 or 14 minute breakdown. Again, on this game, I'm starting to get crazy. This is again my reaction. But most of this was on the Rams. Panthers, though, again, tough way to end your season, guys. But again, in terms of like an overall result on this, again, other than obviously upsetting the Rams, this is probably as close to as again positive result as you guys could have gotten. Again, you came to these playoffs on a 2-game losing streak, losing a frustrating loss to Seattle in week 17, and then the next week losing to the Bucs in a game that again almost eliminated you all from the playoffs. But again, the biggest takeaway I had from this game was the fact that Bryce Young, while he is not a top half of the league quarterback, he's a guy that at least going into next year you can have some confidence in. I don't think he's a guy that you can consistently say, again, especially in the offense he's in right now, that he will lead you to multiple playoff wins or carry your team. But considering what we've seen from the running back game the past 2 weeks and the fact that he just straight up didn't run the ball, and you say, Bryce, go figure it out, and the fact that in a lot of ways he didn't, he read out a lot of his pass protections really well, is a great sign. But at the same time, guys, Bryce Young, we're talking about his contract extension and stuff, he will get I think he should get a decent contract, but he's not going to get franchise quarterback money. I think, again, if he goes out there next year and has a monster season, which could definitely happen, we'll get to that in a little bit. But, yeah, Bryce Young, it was his first legit full season, guys. We'll get more into this when we talk about them on with the power rankings probably on Wednesday. But, yeah, Bryce Young, guys, he played a decent enough game, for my opinion. Again, downfield, he was really accurate. Jalen Carter made a lot of big plays in this game. Obviously, the go-ahead touchdown. This is a guy that needs to be in this offense next year. I don't really know if you can fully trust him as a number 2 receiver despite his injuries this year. He's just not a guy you can consistently rely on. But in a game like this where you just needed a guy to get consistently open, especially schematically, with just, again, Dave Canales not really calling the greatest game. He did a great job. Ty McMillan got locked up by Manuel Forbes most of this game, but he did make his, he did get his in some plays, which is good, but that was just a really good battle to watch out there. Tommy Tremble, I guess he was out there, again, box score enjoyer with this stat line right here, but I don't know, guys. I didn't really watch much of him. Really, the only things I saw were a couple of his flat routes, which really didn't do a lot. And then also, obviously, his blocking was a little bit all over the place in this one. As that, though, Xavier Legette is an absolute freaking bust. Jimmy Horn, he's got brick for hands, I guess. And I don't know. They threw some other dudes out there. Simply put, guys, he's again, the biggest takeaway for this Panthers team is offensively, their weapons are inadequate for what this team needs to be able to do to compete in the playoffs. Defensively, though, again, obviously, Mike Jackson rounds out, again, career year with that interception and just playing out of his mind. Again, it kind of sucks that they lost this game because of how well he played. Trayvon Mulrick didn't do anything in coverage, as it usually is the case, but again, I think that asserts some of their zone coverage versatility, especially with a lot of the sets they like to run. But J.C. Horn, he had himself a game as well. I will say Puka definitely got the best of him on some routes, but again, at the same time, he locked him up when he needed to. Other than that, though, Christian Roseboom, I think he made somewhat of a difference in this game, especially against the run. They were a lot better there. Again, he was a former Ram. He knows what they're going to try to do. I will say, though, a guy like Derek Brown definitely benefited from not having to deal with Kevin Dotson because Kevin Dotson is probably one of the only offensive linemen in football that can, again, match him with, again, physicality. I will say Bobby Brown, DJ Wanham got decent pressure in this game. A lot of the, again, really the only criticism I have from Rozier Evero in this defense, and other than the fact, again, he didn't really use Isaiah Simmons the right way, because Isaiah Simmons was freaking buzzing in this one, was the fact that a lot of his blitz packages really just weren't designed to benefit the secondary. Because you look at that secondary, you have, again, two just phenomenal corners on the outside. You basically say, do your thing out there. They didn't really try to do that. Again, a lot of it was basically trying to bracket Nakua, which I was very confused by. A guy like Nick Scourton really didn't get the opportunity to really do a lot either. That was a little probably frustrating on his part. But again, a rookie season, we'll see what he can do next year. Other than that, though, this is turned on to 15 minutes, guys. Don't want to make this too much longer. You guys see both teams got a decent amount of yardage. Also, guys, the Panthers' fourth down conversion rate going over 3 was also a big issue in this one. But again, Panthers are going to be searching for another playoff, for their first playoff win since 2015 next year as well. But again, overall, very successful season for the Panthers. We'll talk about the Rams more next week. But again, they'll be playing in Chicago probably on Sunday. That's all I have for you guys here. Again, long reaction from this.
It's a rivalry that goes back 104 years. And tonight at Soldier Field in Chicago, they'll meet for the 213th time in this venue. And the kick is good. This is a noise box here.
Yeah, no shit.
Love dancing, has time. Deep downfield, hold in. Big game. Romeo Dobbs. Take it to him. Rolling. throwing, caught, and does he get into the end zone? He does. Christian Watson. Williams fires, and that's going to be picked at the 12-yard line. Carrington Valentine in the pocket. Open, caught, Reed, touchdown. It's juggled, and then it's tipped, and it's incomplete. The fake, wide open, first down, and a ton more down the sideline. Diving in, does he get in for the score? He does. Watson, Love throwing, open, caught, Dobbs. Can they keep the drive going? Williams throws over the middle, incomplete.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Field goal attempt from 34 yards by Cairo Sato. They're going to throw it. He's under pressure. He throws it. It's going to be intercepted at the 2-yard line by Tyron Hobb. 51-yard field goal off the foot of Santos. On the ground, Swift. Can he get into the end zone? He can. Finding room here, Golden. Golden is inside the 10, and Golden will go into the end zone for the touchdown. Have to get to the Green Bay 49. Williams chase, throws, and it's caught at the 30-yard line. In the pocket, fires, caught, touchdown! Olamide Zacchaeus has time, throws, caught! 2 points. Extra pressure. Pass throw. Dobbs makes a tremendous catch. Williams throwing, and it's caught for a touchdown by DJ Moore.
Falcons fans, I didn't want to bring up 28-3 in this one, but it's going to happen because oh my God, they scored 25 points in the fourth quarter. Holy crap. Packers, what happened? Is that a good transition? Yeah. But, guys, anyway, for the Falcons, guys, they freaking screwed the Rams out of a top 5 pick. What else am I going to do, guys? You guys deserve to get flamed. Anyway, for the Packers, as a 7 seed, again, they being the only NFL 7 seed to, again, win a playoff game. And, again, since the NFL moved to this 14-team playoff formats in 2020, again, they'll still remain the only team to be able to do it, but they weren't able to do it for the second time. And honestly, guys, again, you look at this Packers team and the lack of success they've had the past 2 years in the playoffs. Just think of the fact they've been the 7 seed 3 straight seasons. I'm not saying they haven't had their opportunities to win. Last year, again, their offense just completely laid an egg. This one, I mean, there's a multitude of things you can say. Brandon Bananas. But, again, if you're going into the playoffs as a 7 seed, guys, there's probably something that went wrong in your regular season, again, if you didn't sneak in. The Packers, you look at the past years, it was, again, not the latter. It was the thing I said before that. Something went wrong. That's simple. This year, they ended their season on a 5-game losing streak. I can't tell you the last time they lost 5 straight games. Last time the Packers lost 5 straight games. 2022. Weren't they 2-1 that year? Yeah, they were. Because they went to 2-6, right? No, they were 3-1 and they fell to 3-6. Whatever though. Packers 5 straight games to end this year. Talks about Matt LaFleur getting fired. That's just absolutely ludicrous. But I mean, who really knows at this point? Packers though. I mean, guys, this is about as bad of a way you guys can go in your offseason. Bears though. I mean, I don't even know what to say. This is even crazier than the one you had back in Week 16, at least at some levels. As DJ Moore did what he did against the Packers back in Week 16, as again history did repeat itself. We saw again. At least not with the last game. But with this one, again, that was definitely a big thing in this one. But again, the Bears, again, the biggest fourth quarter comeback since 28-3. There's number 1. We'll get to 28-3 again, guys, after, again, the next game. But Bears, I mean, I don't even know what to say, guys. Like, Ben Johnson, bro, like, do your thing, I guess. They'll be hosting the Rams next Sunday, though, if I'm not mistaken. Next Sunday afternoon, I think I'm right on that. On NBC, if I had to guess, again, that's tentative. That's, again, what it was last year for this. Again, that's a 2 seed. But anyway, for Jordan Love, 24-46. Yeah, my golly. 323 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a sack he did take. That was really bad grammar. But, guys, for what Jordan Love did in this game, I mean, guys, it really was a tale of 2 halves for him. I will say in the second half, he, again, especially in the fourth quarter, he just simply delivered. Again, really couldn't quite get it done on the Bears second half side of the field at the end of that game. Again, that crazy scramble drill stuff. Again, deja vu at least for the Bears when they saw with Caleb a couple weeks ago. But for Jordan Love, Yeah, he threw three touchdowns in the first half. I mean, he was just dealing. There's no other way to put it. It looked like him in Dallas a couple years ago. The only thing that he didn't have was a running game, which I think was really, again, perplexing there. But on film, guys, he was just, again, he was an absolute hose out there. His receivers were getting wide open on some routes. Again, the time was just on. He had a lot of the adjustments he made were correct. I mean, guys, again, he was dealing out there. There's another way to put it. And again, the third quarter, honestly, I wouldn't put it completely on him, but again, your quarterback throws 4 touchdowns. I think, what is it, the third time ever a quarterback's thrown 4 touchdowns and lost in the playoffs. Something ridiculous like that. The running game, though, Josh Jacobs really hasn't looked right in like 3 months, to be honest with you guys. He's had a couple decent games in that stretch, but none of them have really like shown himself like in what he could be. And again, the fact that this Bears defense has really not had a great run defense this year kind of shocked me with how he played. Again, the offensive line being partly injured, again, especially with Elgin Jenkins not being out there, who was crucial to the running game last year. Again, I really think, again, it was highlighted in this one, but still, Josh Jacobs, again, just didn't do it in this one. He broke a couple tackles, but again, you got to get a better production out of your starting running back in this game. I honestly think Chris Brooks, who I guess they did give a couple reps there, probably should have gotten a couple more touches. But again, in the grand scheme of things, guys, it's kind of harder to win a game when you're starting running backs averaging 2.9 yards per carry. Again, the offensive line had a big issue with a big part of that. But honestly, guys, I think at least schematically, Josh Jacobs was set up in this game to have a big game, and he simply just didn't perform. Receiving wise, Romeo Doubs, 8 for 124 and a touchdown. Again, this has to give him a contract. He led them in receiving this year. Whether or not he's, again, their best receiver is definitely up to debate. He's definitely their most reliable, though, at the end of the day. Christian Watson, very interesting game from him. A lot of the routes he ran were just kind of clue-out routes. Very bizarre, again, decision by Matt LaFleur on that one. If it wasn't, I might have been incorrect on some of the charts I made. But at the same time, again, that's what, again, initially, a lot of it, when I was looking at the plays, that's what it ended up being. He got open, though, I'll say that. Like, despite his production not really being there, he dropped a couple passes. Christian Watson did perform well enough in this game. Again, it was really just some of the plays really weren't translating, especially in that second half. Receiving for Jaden Reed, similar, he was used as a decoy in a lot of routes, but I will say there were plays where he should have gotten open, he just didn't get it. Matthew Golden, by far the best game of his career up to this point. He just flashed, like, and a lot of his plays were flashes in the pan, but again, a lot of those being in this game, so I mean, do your thing with that. Again, you have 4 receivers in this offense that all have the talents, and again, you all saw them being highlighted in this game. Biggest problem, though, I had was the fact that a guy like Luke Musgrave just simply wasn't getting, again, downfield targets, which is something, again, in terms of this offense we're looking at, in terms of the versatility of it, that had to have changed, because, again, you saw the adjustments the Bears made in that second half. Jermaine Edmonds on Luke Musgrave, he just wasn't holding him honest at all. Luke Musgrave couldn't even sack on him because half of his routes were freaking, like, curls. Again, it was kind of hard to watch. But, again, looking at all the issues this Packers offense had, despite, again, being able to put up, again, the production in that first half. And just talk about blown leads. It's kind of hard to sustain drive when your offensive line is blocking rolls at like 2.1%, 2.1 seconds or something like that. Again, it wasn't good. Defensively, though, again, biggest thing takeaway I had from this defense in this game was that their, again, contain was horrible. Lucas Van Ness was winning on every single play. He, I think, had like 15, if not mistaken, pass rush wins in like, was it 8 pressures? He was cooking. Like, yeah, Lucas Van Ness, again, if anything, he was the only guy on this defensive line getting any pressure. I will say the D line, they got some, the interior definitely got their penetration and some wins. But I mean, like Rashawn Gary, he wasn't very good at all in this game, or he wasn't particularly good. The secondary wasn't really physical at all. I will say Xavier McKinney and Evan Williams did hold the 4th down downfield. I mean, again, other than that insane play that Caleb Williams made throwing it to Roma Dunzek, and they didn't really have much of an issues. And I think they did get bailed out a lot because Caleb, for at least 90% of this game, couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. And especially a guy like Edgerrin Cooper, who definitely had a rough debut, to say the least. He's a freaking second-year guy. I'm a brick, bro. What am I doing? Absolute brick. Well, rough second game in the second playoff game. Jesus, what a stutter. But on that, guys, I don't want to talk about the Packers forever, guys. You all know why they lost. Brandon McManus freaking missed an extra point and 2 field goals. Like, it's kind of hard to win when that happens. They should have won this game, even in spite. Like, those were makeable field goals, guys. I don't know what else to tell you. We're gonna Cam Little in a little bit too. But for the Packers defensively, didn't establish a physical game plan. Lucas Van Ness was the only guy who really showed up on the pass rush, and Evan Williams and Xavier McKinney didn't make as many big plays as they really need to in this game. For the Bears, already talked about they're going to be moving on and hosting the Rams next Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, on that. It's also their first playoff win since 2010. Again, I guess revenge because they played the Packers that same year in the NFC Championship again, and they ended up losing that one in heartbreaking fashion. I guess some revenge there. But again, this game went very, very similar to that Week 16 win they had back in the OT performance there. Again, as DJ Moore caught the game when he passed. Again, for the touchdown, this one, same sort of thing. Again, the end was a little bit different, but you get the point. This one was definitely a lot more crazy, though, because, again, you look at it, it was 21-3 at the half, 18-point deficit. They ended up, again, really not doing a lot in that third quarter. This game was like, what was it, 27-13, something like that. But, again, you look at that fourth quarter there, again, Bears put up 25 points, guys. For any defense, that's insane. Like, I understand, again, the Packers defense for most of this game, again, showed up. But, again, they no passers in that fourth quarter, and the contain was just absolutely awful. For Caleb, though, I don't know how they're going to continue to win like this. I'm telling you guys, if the Rams come in here and put 21 on the Bears in the first half, they're not going to win the game. It's going to be like, it's just going to be over. There's no way around it. Again, I love this Bears like story, guys, but like 50% from Caleb Williams. Again, it's just not going to be a sustainable way to win, especially when you're not running the ball to a really highly explosive clip, especially in terms of EPA per play. That roughly came out. I don't think the actual official one did, but again, the raw score did. So that definitely didn't favor this running game in this one. I will say DeAndre Swift played a very solid game though. But you look at Caleb Williams, guys, he didn't hit the broadside of a barn until the fourth quarter, and even then, that'd be a little bit generous. He had a lot of missed throws. Just the inefficiency in this offense is something to look out for. But anyways, they still won. He made a lot of incredible plays. I think we're just talking about sheer talent alone. He's a guy that can get willy to wins like that. I'll get to the defense defense in a second, which I think was, again, the main takeaway here. Colston Loveland, he's been their most reliable target all season. He did it. DJ Moore, again, is clutch with that touchdown. Roman Dunze, he ran a lot of good routes. I just don't think him and Caleb were on the same page in this one. Something to look out for the rest of the week. But in that, guys, that's really all I have on the Bears offense. Offensive line played very, very well in this game, in my opinion. I don't want to get too deep into the offensive line. We can definitely talk about that a little bit more in the preview for, again, their divisional. But yeah, Bears won their first playoff game since 2010. What else can I say? For the defense, biggest surprise probably out of the weekend so far for me. You guys saw, again, obviously they have a lot of playmakers in secondary, but Jalen Johnson truly looked like, again, back to 2023 form in this game. He played a really solid game. Kyler Gordon, he got targeted a crap ton, and he, I'll say a mixed bag out of his performance, especially statistically. Austin Booker, he had a sack. I mean, he's really emerged recently. Montez Sweat got like quadruple teamed on certain plays. It was kind of funny to watch. Their pressure wasn't exactly, again, the most consistent, but when they did get pressure, it really did affect Jordan Love. Nashawn Wright played a decent game before he got injured. Tyreek Stevenson was out there a lot, again, kind of surprising. But, guys, this defense, especially in the secondary, they just stepped up and made a lot of plays they needed to. Again, they rode that momentum, and that's something, again, going into next week, which, again, you're definitely going to need because, again, this team isn't going to, again, especially with the offense not being as consistent as they needed to in this game, the defense had to step up. Despite a nightmarish first half, they really did that. Again, 10 of 19 of third down. That's another huge way they won this one again. I would say Ben Johnson, again, aggressive on fourth down. Love it, bro. But again, you can't go for a 4th and 4 from near 32. Again, especially next week, and I'm continue to hammer this home because, again, they're getting into it, bro. Deep playoff run is on the horizon if they're able to win next week. That can't be your mindset going into next week. That's all I can say. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys here. Again, this game was insane. There's 1,000 other things I could have said with it, but that'll about do it here as we get into our Sunday wildcard, as the AFC wildcard. Yeah, let's see that, Bill.
The AFC wildcard round continues with the Buffalo Bills 12-5 on the season.
And Lawrence again up top and picked off. Picked off by Thompson. Shaq Thompson's down to the 32-yard line. Raider, hold on. It's good. Trevor's going to go up top. Going to end zone. Got a touchdown with Brian Thomas Jr. from Jacksonville, the first to find the end zone. The 30. The 35. It gets hit by his own teammate. The ball's on the ground. Out of the gun. They gamble, and they go with Lawrence. Oh, this is going to be so close. Allen. Down the field. Wait. Slips through a tackle, and he's inside the 10-yard line. There he goes to me. You had the right call, and I think he broke the plane. It's a touchdown. 68 yards. What a catch by Wash, 54 yards. Washington's kick. After all that, it's no good. Already good from 50. This from 47. And Prater is good again. 3 yards. Right ahead. Little nails. Here's Lawrence. Zips it. In zone. Caught. Touchdown.
You knew the ball was going to stay in Josh's hands right there.
No question. 1st and 10. Makes the quick toss. Goes down the field. Kincaid has it for the touchdown. Throw it this way. Flicks it. ETN. Oh!
rid of it. Deep, he's open. And Cooks has it. Cooks was left alone in the secondary. Big on the tush push. There he is. Not to be denied. He's still going. Look at this. Wow. He's shoved across. They'll go ahead and take the touchdown. As again, Reggie Gilliam rides right behind him. And the Bills are back in front. That would match his career long as 68-yard. The ball's intercepted. The game is over as Cole Bishop gets it off the rebound.
In the game that kicked off the AFC side of the playoff bracket, we saw the Buffalo Bills close out this game against the Jaguars 27-24. Jags, very disappointing loss for them as the end of their 8-game winning streak. And also it's their first home playoff loss since 2005 to the Patriots. That was the score. I hate the Falcons, bro. But nonetheless, the Bills win their wildcard game for the 6th consecutive year. It's their first road playoff win under Josh Allen. I know how crazy that sounds, but it is true. Josh Allen came into this playoffs at 0-4 on the road. First playoff road win. And again, you look at it, it was not pretty. The offense for most of this game was not functioning really remotely well. But again, they figured out a way to do it. And, you know, they're going to be moving on to either, I don't even know where they're playing. Chargers, Patriots will dictate some of that. Again, I really have no idea yet. No, Chargers, Patriots will dictate where they're going to play. I don't know what's happening in that. As long as Drake may didn't tear his ACL in the first snap, I think we will have to wait a little bit for that result. But I have no idea where the Bills are going next week. We'll figure that out. Maybe I'll probably talk about it at the end of this, probably in the Texans recap or not recap. Recap and reaction. For the Bills, though, in this game, I haven't watched any of the film because the film hasn't came out yet. I'm going to try to watch some of it over the week. Me probably won't get to it because I have to get to the other games. But Josh Allen, 28-35, 273 and a touchdown. Guys, anyone can say this, but again, more than most games this season, you saw his arm strength and his arm talent just, again, go crazy off the screen. I mean, there's no other way to put it. He had multiple throws where, again, he didn't get anything on it, and he somehow, again, was able to make, again, a well-paced time throw. Again, he's an off-rhythm passer. There's very few of those in the NFL. He is one of them. And the fact he was still able to, again, time those out was just, I mean, there's no other way to put it. That was insane. Running game, yeah. Anyone could have told you, look at that Jags defense. They were, again, best run defense in the league, at least statistically, and they showed up like that. I mean, the run fits were about as sound as they could have gotten from what I saw off the screen. Again, all those replays and stuff. But I will say, we'll get to Devin Lloyd. He was making life hard on James Cook. James Cook really got to the second level maybe twice in this game. The Bills were not going to be able to run this one. Josh Allen, though, kind of counteracted that with his red zone physicality. Again, he banged his finger or something, and he still figured out a way to get in the end zone. It is Josh Allen. Again, him and Matt Stafford, really, again, the two guys that I've been seeing recently. Or not recently. Two guys, again, probably two most toughest quarterbacks in the NFL, and you saw that, again, in their 2 playoff games here. Receiving, Khalil Shakir, he was basically just the guy to get the ball to. There's really no other way to put it. They needed yards, and he was the guy to get it. Was he really getting open consistently? Maybe. Again, but at the end of the day, it was just really short routes. Dump offs. Josh Allen always had a very reliable connection with them in this one. And despite, Khalil Shakir really having kind of a disappointing year in his overall, dynamic and playability. This game is really what you need out of him. You need a guy to just get the ball to, and then that's really what he was in this game. Brandon Cooks, obviously the huge 36-yard catch. He's probably the biggest wrinkle in this offense, to be honest with you guys. Keon Coleman, first thing I've seen from him all season. Dawson Knox, Dalton Cade, neither one of them really played their best game. Dalton Cade, though, he again is a difference in this offense for sure. He's the best offensive weapon they have. But again, Dawson Knox, he looked good in this one. Really solid blocking as well. Honestly, guys, they got a little bit of everything from the guys they needed to get that from. And the fact, again, a guy like Brandon Cooks was able to make a big play there towards the end of the game was a huge part of their win. But at the end, guys, this offense was really built around this offensive line consistently, again, maintaining their blocks and Josh having time to find guys. If they didn't have him, Khalil Shakir was underneath. Really love the function of this offense, guys. That was how they needed to win this game. Look what they did. For the defense, very solid performance. Shaq Thompson, I don't know what it is. I don't think he's played a playoff game since freaking 2015, and he looked like a 2015 player there, as he made a lot of good plays. He did have to tackle. His coverage really wasn't the most consistent, but he, again, over the middle, wasn't letting a lot of stuff go over his head. Matt Milano made a lot of good plays, really just the anchor for this defense at the end of the day in this one. Greg Rousseau had a sack. I didn't, again, see his overall advanced statistics just yet, but from this, I'm going to say 5 plays I glanced at this game, he looked pretty decent. Christian Benford, I didn't see him on the field. Means he had a good game. Teron Johnson, he didn't do great on Parker Washington. I think that, again, he'll definitely tell you that. I think there were definitely some plays where he left something on the field there. Jordan Poyer, solid game, held the fort down. Cole Bishop, game-winning interception. What else am I going to say? Or game-clinching interception. Daquan Jones, Deone Walker, again, 2 question marks there on the interior of the defensive line. Had very solid games there. AJ Epineza, didn't get to watch much of him, but I think from maybe the 5, I think it was 3 snaps. I definitely watched 5 or so. So 3 snaps of AJ Epineza. One, he just kind of didn't really do anything with his leverage, and then the other 2, he kind of just didn't really win. So, I mean, it was kind of a tie in terms of him versus, who is it? Walker Little? No, not Walker Little. Freaking Cole Van Lannon. You get the point. But on that, guys, Prater was perfect. Bills move on to the playoffs. They're playing someone next week. Again, keep things rolling. For the Jags, though, again, tough way to have their season go out. Again, it came in this game on an 8-game winning streak. A lot of things were left on the field there. Trevor Lawrence, a lot of people are going to be harping on his mistakes in this one. Yes, turnovers were crucial in their loss. But the biggest thing I pulled out of Trevor Lawrence in this game was that a lot of his timely throws really weren't kind of built upon. You look at his touchdown to Parker Washington, beautiful throw. But I really was looking to see him kind of go off of that, and then that next drive kind of, get the progressions going faster, getting a little bit more rhythm. Maybe, I wouldn't say take a chance, but kind of take a window, see what you see pre-snap, and at the end, take that picture and kind of apply it to what you're doing post-snap. That just really wasn't done at the level that I think he needed to, again, to really, put this team above, because, again, you saw they got the ball back when they had the lead, and it just didn't really happen. But, Trevor, kind of a disappointing performance overall. Again, him coming this hot in the game, again, tough there. Also, the last play, the interception, you could argue that was the right throw. Jacoby Myers wasn't open. I mean, again, that's the one thing I have to say there. He just wasn't open. I'm going to have to really look at that play probably over 5 times to really get a good sight of what Trevor was seeing. The protection was holding up, though. He had a clean pocket. Again, I really got to re-see that because I don't know if that was the greatest play call either. They might have been screwed pre-snap. We'll see what happens with how that looks, though. They also only ran the ball 14 times or 15 times. That's kind of hard to win games when that's the case, too. I will say Travis Etienne really didn't have much going in this game. Again, he had the one really nice run, but other than that, really, again, wasn't his game. But again, you look at that Jags playoff one versus the Chargers. Back in 2023, I guess. Travis Etienne Jr. was a main part of that offense. Again, Trevor throwing 4 picks was, again, the main story of that one. He had 4 touchdowns after that. But Travis Etienne was really the stabilizing guy in this one. Again, in that one. And I think, again, Trevor staying grounded was a big, really issue for me in this one from what, again, I initially saw in the reaction I have from this. But Travis Etienne, I think he's a guy that could have kept them grounded. That left me something to watch, again, later. But again, seeing their season come to a close obviously sucks. Travis Etienne did have the receiving touchdown, though. Brian Thomas, again, opened the game with, again, the first touchdown here. He just didn't get open on Christian Bedford. That's all I can say. It just didn't happen. Kind of a disappointing year. Jacoby Myers, I mean, he got locked up. Again, I talk about the play over the middle. He just, again, didn't create enough separation. I think it was part of it because at the top of his route, didn't really sell the route great, and also is just kind of I wouldn't say slipped, but it wasn't a clean break out there. Defensively, a lot of the pressure they got was just off of Josh Allen winning with ghost moves. There's no other way to put it. I did like the cross chops from Trayvon Walker. He did a lot of good things with that, and his just straight up speed to power was dynamic in this game. But it didn't really get consistent enough pressure on Josh Allen to, affect him in a way that could actually change the game, which I'm not trying to make that sound like a backhanded compliment, but, I mean, that's kind of all I can do with that. Secondary didn't lose them the game, I guess. I was expecting Antonio Johnson to make a couple more plays, but honestly, can't really get too mad about that. Foyesio Luukong definitely lost a step again from last year, and you can definitely see that in this one. Really, the issues for this defense was the fact that in the red zone, they just simply didn't really do anything. There's no other way to put it. Kind of felt like they just let the floodgates open again. We talk about bend, don't break. They were really just breaking. They don't really play bend, don't break defense, but they did broke when they needed to not break. So, yeah. Yardage-wise, in terms of that, honestly, guys, I don't really see anything that sticks out to me other than the fact that the Jags really just didn't take advantage of a lot of the Bills' mistakes in this one, which, again, part of the reason they lost this, too. But, again, the 2 picks by Trevor, that's what it ended up going. But, guys, honestly, this is a very well-played game. Again, it sucks, Jags fans, but you look at how the Bills won this game. Again, it was just a well-played game. The Bills are the more experienced playoff team. This is what, again, experienced teams do. This is what legit contenders do. Hats off to the Bills for winning this game. I'll see y'all for, again, the Niners-Eagles breakdown when I get a little bit more context on Monday. But, yeah, that was the Bills and Jags. Let's get into those Niners.
The NFL Wildcard, and we've got the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Purdy has Robinson deep and wide open, first down, and he breaks through. Foot race now, cuts back, and again, and still on his feet. Couple of fakes, Purdy, quick throw, caught in the end zone, touchdown. Robinson again, and the 49ers strike first. 3rd and goal. They give it to Goddard on the
sweep. Dallas Goedert's in. Touchdown, Philadelphia. His first career rushing touchdown. He's got 12 total touchdowns on the year. The point is no opportunity to throw it. Hurts blitzes coming, going far side. It's knocked away. Upton Stout, the tremendous. The keeper. Throwing, caught for the touchdown. Guess who? Dallas Goedert. He's been in the league a while. His first career playoff game, and he hits his first year. Purdy to throw. Pressure in his face. Oh, intercepted. It is picked off by Quinyon Mitchell. Elliott's kick is perfect. Purdy with time. Floats one deep. It is intercepted. It's Quinyon Mitchell, number 2. Elliott up, and he drills it up and through. Pressure. Steps up. Oh, touchdown, San Francisco.
It's back to the inside, and Purdy's awareness to know where he's at.
3rd and 5. Blitz. Picked up. Hurts. A.J. Brown drops it. Oh, my goodness. Drop out of the blitz. Hurts looking, throwing. Caught for the first down. Dallas Goedert.
All right, guys, just for context, these next 2 games were recorded on Monday, just telling y'all. But anyways, as you guys saw, the Niners ended the defending Super Bowl champ Eagles' hopes of repeating as they knocked them off 23-19. What was a very, very good game. Again, biggest things from this game were the explosive plays of the Niners and a lot of the razzle-dazzle, which really led them to victory. And again, their stunning defensive performance against the Eagles' offense that really didn't get anything going. But again, overall, Niners knocked them off 23-19. They will be advancing to Seattle next week to be playing them more likely than not on Saturday night. They're definitely playing on Saturday. Those will be a short week for them after they got an extra day, considering they did relinquish that 1 seed to Seattle. So again, last week. We'll get more into that throughout the week, but again, that's definitely something to look at there. Email for Philly, like I said, very disappointing way they ended their season this season overall. Hasn't gone completely horrible because, again, they did get the 3 seed and won the division. But, again, their defense that I think was a little bit overrated at times definitely showed their issues in this game. Again, offensively didn't really do a lot at all. A lot of questions over Kevin Matullo and what will happen with him. Again, you saw the bantering with, again, Nick Sirianni and A.J. Brown, which is definitely something to look at. Again, not too deeply into because, I mean, like, A.J. Brown, you're getting paid a lot of money, bro. You haven't really talked about this crap since, like, week 5, so, I mean, I don't know. We'll get more into that if actually it comes up in any sort of remote issue. But anyways, Eagles, again, is 3 seed, massively disappointing performance in this one. But anyway, I did say, I think for the Bills and Jags game, that I wanted to wait on this because I wanted to, again, talk about this Eagles defense. We'll get to not the Eagles defense, the Eagles offense. We'll get to that in a little bit. I just wanted to, again, discuss the Niners offense versus the Eagles defense first because, again, that's really important. Brock Purdy in this game did throw 2 interceptions, but he was very good downfield, guys. He anticipated very, very well, and he really just honestly was super productive. And, again, when you can do that against the Eagles defense, really challenge these 2 linebackers, Nakobe Dean and Zach Braun, it really makes this defense play a lot more on their heels, which, again, is not how they want to play. They want to be attacking uphill and have their 2 interior dudes be able to do whatever they want. But, again, they ran a lot of double teams with Dominic Pooney being the lead guy there, and sometimes he even had to again, go one-on-one with a guy like Jalen Carter. And the fact he was able to hold up, I think, was a huge reason that this offense was able to do what they were able to. Again, Juwan Jennings, obviously, the razzle-dazzle touchdown, as you guys saw in the intro. That was a huge, really fun play here. Niners and Kyle Shanahan kind of led the way with this offense. Running game wasn't exactly entirely productive, but the function of it really helped out this offense kind of, keep the Eagles from, consistently just straight up just playing whatever they wanted out there and just saying, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Wild West sort of thing. Again, DeMarcus Robinson had a 61-yard play to open the game. I think that really caught the Eagles off guard as well. That was something to mention. But again, DeMarcus Robinson, 6 for 111, again, had those 2 big plays in the opening drive. CMC also caught the go-ahead touchdown. That was a huge play, obviously. That route was really creative. Again, kind of shows where he is at this season. He was just really overall carving that Eagles defense up. Off play action, Kyle Juszczyk was a huge guy weaponized there. Jake Tynes also did a really good job blocking again with George Kittle being out for the rest of the playoffs, the torn Achilles, and probably for most of next year. Jake Tynes is definitely a guy to watch out for. Not only that, again, he has really good opportunity, not only next week, but maybe even moving on to really, again, assert himself as not only getting a decent contract, but again, maybe be the starting tight end for this team next year. Again, until George Kittle gets back. But again, Juwan Jennings, 1 catch, again, 45-yard catch there. He had himself a game. Again, overall, I understand only 1 catch, a big play there, but again, they asked him to make 2 big plays, and he made them. And overall, his route tree in this game was very, very, I wouldn't say versatile, but diverse, which is something we haven't really seen recently with him, which is, again, pretty weird. But, hey, I guess you got to do what you got to do. But, again, for a guy who at least this season hasn't been able to put up the numbers that he's used to really put up 2 years ago, this is definitely, again, a guy who's been a red zone threat for sure. But very, very good game from him. Offensive line, though, very fantastic performance there. Again, the guys you look at, a guy like Coleman Kavitz, who isn't really the greatest player, he played out of his mind. Again, Trent Williams being out there was all, again, really, again, at the end of the day, the reason this offense is so successful. Yeah, they only did score 23 points, but again, more like 24, but overall, Niners, hats off to them offensively. Defensively, I mean, I don't even know where to start, guys. This was very surprising with how well they played the run. Again, they did give a couple decent-sized runs to Saquon, but none of them really get back-breaking. Both safeties in Malik Mustafa and Jair Brown played their best games of the season, in my opinion, especially over the middle in coverage. They made it really hard. Again, they really made it so that Jalen Hurts wasn't on time. Again, he was either going to turn over the ball or not complete the passes. Again, you saw in that last play. Upton Style, the rookie, got targeted a lot. He definitely had his moments, but overall was still really solid. John Miller and where is he? Ronaldo Green played fantastic. They made it really hard, especially A.J. Brown, who, again, I understand beat Ronaldo Green on one play to, again, really consistently get open downfield. And then, you look at John Miller mostly. He basically just took Devontae Smith out of this game. Again, that's really the underrated part of this defense. This secondary, despite, again Jair Brown and Malik Mustafa at times being inconsistent, Malik Mustafa is probably the most talented guy in the secondary, and they have two corners on the outside that they just straight up in press are just going to lock guys up. You guys kind of hurt their, again, we look at this team, the multiplicity of this defense, but other than that, you can't really get, again, too mad about what you have corner. Linebackers, definitely a little bit of an adventure with those guys in this game, but realistically, they were just disciplined. Again, that's what I saw on the tape, which I think is the real reason they were able to, not give up as many big plays. Again, really force the Eagles to, be down the field, and that's not really again, that's what ended up having, again, favored them. D-line didn't really get much pressure. I will say Keon White did a really good job against the run. I was pretty surprised by that. Bryce Huff didn't get a ton of pressure, but did affect Jalen Hurts at some points. Again, this year the D-line didn't really much penetration, but again, them holding up was a huge reason that this defense was, able to be, again, sound against the run and just really not give a lot of big plays, which was their goal in this one. Pinero missed that extra point, but other than that, was pretty good. For the Eagles, everyone's going to go back to, again, Jake Elliott's missed field goal, or not missed field goal, missed extra point. That was definitely a big issue because, again, this game would have been tied probably if that didn't have happened. Again, the game actually would have been tied if that didn't have happened. Or, yeah, there we go. But again, Jake Elliott's missed other kicks this year, so what else am I going to say? Again, that ended up being the difference, though. Jalen Hurts, not really much else than what we've seen in the regular season from him. Again, a lot of his issues stem from the fact that he just isn't getting the ball out quick enough and, again, isn't in rhythm. And when he is in rhythm, like I said, even then, it's not really always the most consistent, game with him. And, again, when that's the case, it's really hard to be okay. Not be okay, but to be, again, an offense that's efficient. Saquon, really effective game, 106 yards. He looks really solid. Again, he broke a couple runs in the 29-yarder on the opening drive. Was definitely huge. Again, the biggest issues I think I saw from him in this one, he just really wasn't extending runs, but at the same time, that's kind of been the whole theme this season with him. But still, probably one of his better games of the season if we look at it overall. But again, you look at Tank, basically he got 4 carries. He looked pretty fresh on those, as you might have expected him to. Dallas Goedert obviously had 2 touchdowns in this game. He was the main red zone guy in this one. Pretty fun to watch with that. But again, you look at this offense and the fact, again, Jalen Hurts, again, with him not being, again, on time and in a rhythm, it's really, again, like I said, hard for this offense to be efficient, and the Niners were daring them to beat them deep, and that just didn't happen in this game. Devontae Smith, 8 for 70, but he was taken out of this game. A.J. Brown mentally was taken out of this game by himself. Dallas Goedert, though, 4 for 33 touchdown. I like what I saw from him, and again, really, realistically, no one else really did a lot in this offense. And offensive line-wise, Jordan Mailata had probably one of his worst games in a while. Landon Dickerson and Tyler Sheen, the tackles, also didn't play very well. I think Cam Jurgens did play a decent game from what I saw. I didn't get to watch a ton of Fred Johnson's film, but he was definitely probably the weak point in this offensive line, as you might have expected. Again, just overall, again, I don't want to sound like a casual here, but there's a reason that the Eagles are not winning games when Lane Johnson's not in the field, and it's for multiple reasons. But the biggest one is, again, Saquon isn't always able to break away these big runs on a consistent basis with him not out there, because he's the guy who clears those huge edges. But anyways, defensively, look at what I saw from them. It was extremely disappointing from what I saw from Nakobe Dean. He, again, is playing for a contract in this game. Didn't really do anything to, again, kind of boost his market. Maybe, I wouldn't say degrade it, but definitely not boost it. Zach Bond, he definitely struggled against the run, but other than that, I think he was decent. Again, that's definitely a really bad thing, but at the same time, I mean, I'm not going to, dog on him too much. He, again, held on the fort pretty well. Nolan Smith won maybe twice in this game. He had one good ghost move. I saw, I think, a decent speed rip. It wasn't his best game. He really only has 3 moves. That's part of the reason for that. Quinton Mitchell, again, you're looking at the turnovers he forced. He forced 3 turnovers in the game. I'm not going to really complain about how you played. Even if you got burned for 4 touchdowns, I mean, this performance is just insane. I will say, though, in terms of the average yards of separation per coverage snap, it was not awesome. I think that was a little bit skewed because what I saw on tape, it really wasn't that bad. Just, again, it wasn't always, again, breaking off the top of the greatest. He definitely made out for it with that second interception, though. But honestly, guys, Quinton Mitchell, other than, I guess, Cooper DeJean in some instances, was really the only 2 guys in this defense that played again, to their level. Jalen Carter, he had a sack. He had like 5 pressures. Again, really the only thing that I think hurt him was the fact that he couldn't, again, win one-on-one on a consistent basis as you're used to seeing, and that's, again, part of the reason this defense has been elite at points this season. But again, Jalen Carter, again, just didn't get it done the way you needed him to, and that's part of the reason you lost. Other than that, though, a lot of the rotational guys didn't play very good games either. Like, very quiet game from Jalen Phillips. I think he might have had one pressure. He just, again, wasn't getting off the line well and just didn't really look like he brought his game today or yesterday. But anyway, again, you saw Jake Elliott missed his extra point, and that was really the biggest difference there. And as you guys saw, again, with the team stats, Niners outgained them. Again, we're also good, not in terms of time possession, but 6 of 11 on third down was also pretty crucial for them, especially again on that last third down that ended up winning them the game. But other than that, guys, you guys saw what the Niners did defensively. They had one of their better games this season. They just made the Eagles drive up and down the field. The Eagles weren't able to do that. But again, 3 Niners turnovers. Is that really going to last next week? We'll talk about that over the week. But again, Niners knock off the defending champs.
You can feel it in the New England air. The familiar feeling of the NFL playoffs. We are 30 miles from Boston. 11 from his own end zone, May deflecting. Derwin James almost had it, but a teammate comes up with it. It's Henley going for it. Pats bringing the heat. Herbert trying to escape. End zone throw. No. Almost blocked. It was low. Operation clean. The kick is being looked at in the tent. 4-man rush without one of their starting corners. Pats recovering. He gives the Patriots a 6-3 lead on 2nd and 10. May look out from behind, protects the ball. Now he loses it, and the Chargers are on it. All the way off the 8. As time will shut downfield towards Booty. Cut in front, got it. Booty on the run, inside the 30 to the 20. Pretty solid throughout his first year. Good from 30 team in the first part of this third quarter, and a drop ball by Herbert, but Vidal saves the day. Pass. Oh, pick up on Henley, twists him. He's got it to the end zone. Touchdown, New England.
They just haven't been able to do it.
There it is again. Got away. Dang it. Oh, God. Lost the football. It's recovered by the Patriots. 3rd and 6. May pumped. In trouble. He's hit the ball, comes free, and the bounce is recovered. Same deal. Got him again. Anthony Jennings.
Gonzalez.
Here they all come. Backpedaling. Gadsden's got it. First down. Johnston in motion. 4th down. Herbert.
He needs some milk.
Milton Williams.
Alright guys, and the game that wrapped up Wildcard Sunday was an absolute stinker. There's no other way to put it, as the New England Patriots were able to win their first playoff game since Super Bowl 53 in kind of disgusting fashion over the Chargers. Again, you guys saw the sack tracker in that one. Justin Herbert got sacked 6 times in this game. Again, that's really the headline for the Chargers' struggles in this game. But again, what it comes down to is the fact that this team just simply hasn't gotten done in the postseason for a really long time now. And again, whether you had Jim Harbaugh, freaking Anthony Lynn, Phillip Rivers, and now even Justin Herbert, who again has a really big narrative on that now, like even bigger than Lamar Jackson. Again, this is just, again, it's kind of pathetic to watch, honestly, in this game, because the Patriots offensively really didn't bring any sort of firepower at all. Again, they came in this 2 seed, play the Chargers team that just, again, honestly, again, I understand this offensive line, if we look at it, isn't even remotely healthy. Like, you don't have either of your tackles are out. Again, no Rashawn Slater, no Joe Alt. Again, the interior, though, again, that was already an issue to start the season. But, yeah. So the Chargers, guys, in this game, again, we'll get into the offensive line. I'll break down every single one of these guys' performances. Obviously, Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt back would have been a huge big difference. But honestly, guys, this offense, their offensive difficulties come back to, again, something we'll get to. But again, extremely disappointing for the Chargers. Justin Herbert's now 0-3 in his career as a starter. Is now 6 years in his career, and he hasn't won a playoff game. Just, for a guy of his talent, again, that's just, again, it's inexcusable. Patriots, they'll move on 16-3. They'll be probably playing in the last game of the divisional round next Sunday. That'll probably, it's not Sunday night, but it's like a Sunday evening, if I'm not mistaken. I really want to see them play the Bills in the championship game. That would be huge. But anyway, yeah, I'll get to them in a little bit. For the Chargers, though, and takeaways I have for them, again, it's really Justin Herbert just hasn't been able to get it done in these big games. You look back to last year, the Bills, again, it's been a multitude of reasons why. Last year, you look at it, threw 4 interceptions. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I mean, I'd love to say that he did make big plays downfield in that game. But again, against that Texans team, he literally threw the game away. I want to give you guys some technical breakdown on that, but there's really no other way to put it. Again, if you saw it last year in my reaction to that game, simply put, he threw the game away. 2022, he just, again, the momentum just completely switched, and again, I think that we can safely say he's not a guy that can I'm gonna say respond to adversity, but kind of flip momentum on its head like a guy like Stafford can. Which, again, a lot of people compared Stafford and Herbert. Earlier, Stafford didn't. Again, he switched momentum in a lot of games, but playoff games he really didn't. But in the same instances, were the Lions in any of the games under Stafford? I'm not trying to give excuses for Stafford, but were they ever favored in any of those games? I wouldn't say so. So again, you look at the Chargers. Again, this is a game they honestly, against how their defense played, they should have won. But definitely that Jags game a couple years ago. I mean, anyone could have said that. But yeah, he did take 6 sacks. Offensive line, I guess we'll just get into it now. Jamari Salyer is just not a left tackle. There's no other way to put it. His most natural position is right guard, and he's a run blocking right guard. But other than that, I mean, guys, he's just not a left tackle. You saw him; he got absolutely tossed multiple times in this game. I think he did hold up again for the running game though, which was probably the best thing I could say. He just didn't sustain blocks though, and really again give much of a hope in terms of setting the edge, which again was probably he's just not a left tackle. What did you expect? Zion Johnson is probably the best guy in this offensive line in this game. He didn't play well. Again, he hasn't really played well at all this season overall. But again, his pass victory is kind of average, and he is a consistent player, which I guess is what you have. But he's never been a good run blocker, which again is a big issue for this offense. Bradley Bozeman, again, a lot of people, at least in terms of we're talking about people who don't know ball and they're just looking at advanced analytics, which are crap for offensive linemen most of the time. He looks as one of the worst guys. I will say he's definitely a below average player, but he definitely obviously got torched in this game. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. He really got just absolutely destroyed. But this season he hasn't looked as bad on tape as I think a lot of people, at least again the casuals would say. But yeah, Bradley Bozeman. I'd be shocked if he started for this team next year. Mekhi Becton. He's tough because this year he's definitely, again, last year at the Eagles he was phenomenal. In any way you put it, again on tape he looked like a dominant player. This year it's kind of been off and on. He's kind of been put in a tough spot because he's really not protected here. This game pass blocking wasn't too bad, but on the stunts he really didn't play a great game because again you look at that again it was really him with him but Bradley Bozeman again it just doesn't work. His individual one-on-one blocking wasn't bad in this game, but as a group, he didn't look great in that aspect. Trey Pipkin, same thing. He's a backup player. He can't handle speed rushes, especially when he gets off the line slow. That was a huge thing I saw from him in this game. Again, like I said, got absolutely torched, similar to Bradley Bozeman. This offensive line, there's really only 2 guys I think should be starting next year. Bradley Bozeman, I don't think, again, maybe you can get away with starting him. Mekhi Becton and Zion Johnson should be okay. But again, obviously without your starting tackles, again, that was really the big theme here. But anyone could have told you that. I just want to give you guys my opinion on how they played. Herbert, though, he's got to get the ball out quicker. And honestly, guys, when it came down to it, who the hell is the Chargers offensive coordinator? I'm completely blanking. Greg Roman, that's who I thought it was. I do not know how I forgot that. Jim Harbaugh, I don't think he had his running game his running backs prepared for this game. Kamani Ball got smacked on his first 3 carries and just didn't look like anything close to the same level of aggressiveness as he did look on those 3 first carries. I think he just completely got taken out of the game there. They ran the ball 12 times too. I mean that's probably a big thing too. If I was thinking, did Hampton get injured? Hampton injury. Yeah, he just didn't get played. That's what it was, I think. Again, he was obviously on a snap count, but, they just didn't use him. Justin Herbert, there shouldn't be any games he's getting 10 carries. The fact that he carried the ball 10 times in the team kind of told you where they were at. But honestly, guys, as bad as this offensive line played in this game relative to, again, how injured they were, none of these receivers did anything. Orlando Gatson is a very situationally based tight end, and he made his plays in his situations. He's just not simply just a horrible blocker, so it's kind of hard to use him. Keenan Allen didn't get open. Lamb McConkey has just looked broken this year. There's no other way to put it. I'll definitely do a deep dive this offseason to how, again, what went wrong for him this year. First things first, though, again, really what it comes down to is he doesn't have a diverse release package, and for a guy who's not exactly a straight burner down the field, it's really hard to see him, I would say trick defenders, but keep them honest in a lot of ways. And he also didn't stack well at all in this game. A lot of his routes were kind of predictable. And that's why Christian Gonzalez, again, it is Christian Gonzalez, but completely took him out of the game. And the other a guy like Quentin Johnson, who's really the only guy creating separation in this offense, the fact that he wasn't able to get open fast enough made it really hard for Justin Herbert to make plays. But even that, guys, Justin Herbert, he didn't throw the ball downfield at all in this game. I mean, the secondary was literally just loading up every single play. And that's on Justin in a lot of ways. Obviously, Greg Roman not having an effective game plan in terms of the passing game is a huge reason why. But even those quick completions, guys, again, you're not going to do anything with that at the end of the game there. That's why the Chargers struggled so badly offensively. And again, despite the offensive line, again, having a lot of issues with the simulated pressures and the blitzes, which, again, is his own thing, but I don't think, again, that was the core reason for their issues. One was you literally didn't run the ball, and none of these receivers were making any plays. It's just that simple. Defensively, it's really not simple. You get the point. Defensively, they forced 3 turnovers. That's really the first thing they'll start with. I mean, they made it really hard. Drake made to make plays. Again, you saw Derwin James on that touchdown. He was inches from knocking that away, maybe getting another interception. Derwin James, he was just flat out amazing in this game. I want to praise other guys in this defense, but again, he's the main guy. Adafioye with 3 sacks. I think it was, again, justified with 10 pressures as well. He, again, just overall was an absolute monster in this game. He will be getting a big contract this offseason. Dan Henley, great in coverage. He's one of the better cover linebackers in football. I've been saying that every year since he again, said that as a prospect. Again, that's what we've seen so far in his career. Tier Tart, best game he's had in a while. Jamari Caldwell, he got pressure. Tuli Tupelotu, technician off the edge there. Again, I can go on for days about how this defense played. Dante Jackson, I think he may have given it 1 catch. Really, the only issues I saw were maybe some of the yak yards they gave up. But even then, guys, this defense they were spot on for how they needed to play this game against the Patriots offense. You have really no excuses with how they played. Just coming out of the fact that this offense, again, couldn't do anything. And that's probably, again, the worst feeling I can have as an NFL fan is either my defense is awful or my offense just, again, they can't do anything. Again, it's one thing if your offense is just turnover prone and you can still get yardage, which isn't the end of the world. But again, it's my offense can't do anything. That's kind of what I saw from the Rams back in 2022 at times. They literally just couldn't do anything. So that's the worst feeling to have as an NFL fan. That's all I'll say. For the Patriots, Drake May did take 5 sacks. He held the ball way too long in this game. That's just the simple truth about it. On tape, open guys just missed them. Playoff nerves, I guess is what you could say. Him not really being the most accurate, another thing too, I guess. He was much better in the second half. Again, statistically, that's what it'll speak to as an objective standpoint. But yeah, even on tape, he still didn't look great in the second half. Again, he was relatively accurate downfield. His interception was kind of tough. He did fumble twice. One of them, I think, was definitely his fault. The other one was kind of it was a weird play. Running game, Trayvon Henderson, again, if he's not breaking away a big run, he's really just not a great running back. I think he had that one game against the Jets where probably his overall best complete game in the season, but again, it was the Jets. He's really played 3 games this year where he's actually looked like, again, there's something there. But other than that, especially in a game like this, really didn't play a great game. Ramondre Stevenson was, kind of the engine of this offense in this game with his explosive plays. I think he had 3 explosive runs. He definitely had at least 2 big plays and the receiving game. Again, the 48-yard catch to set him up at midfield after being buried deep there. Ramondre Stevenson, again, he just played himself a game. Receiving, though, Kayshon Boutte, 42-yard catch. Again, he was their big play guy as well. Stephon Diggs didn't really get involved a lot in this offense. Again, it was kind of hard in this, offense overall get going, which I think was probably the biggest thing I could say about them. But again, they did control the clock, which I think was, again, probably one of the better things they could have done in this game, despite, maybe not being the most efficient. Defensively, there's a million good things I can say. I think they had 2 guys with multiple sacks. They had 12 pressures in the first half, something ridiculous like that. It definitely got worse later. Secondary just completely dominated this game as well. They, again, really just kept the blanket on these receivers, and none of them really got open. I mean, again, by that standpoint, the defense played a perfect game. Really, the only, problems I had was the fact, again, at least against the run, they weren't just completely selling out for the passing game, because, again, I don't even think the Chargers would have Greg Roman would even have thrown had Justin Herbert throw it even if hand the ball off even if they again had that sort of advantage there. But other than that, you guys saw the game. It was brutal to watch. Patriots, again, neither one of these teams were effective on offense, but again, they were able to hold on defensively, just completely take this game over. That's all I have from this one, guys. Let's get to our last one, which was again the Monday Nighter, which I guess you'll see when I see my reaction.
Try for Chris Boswell. And Lakey tipping it in there. Fisher, here's a little pitch back to Stroud, looking to air it out, pulls out. Recovered by Pittsburgh and Y.A. Black. And Marks gets it. Gets to the edge, cuts it upfield, has a first down. Tripped up inside the 15. Fake toss. Wide open, spinning catch. Kirk touchdown. Ball is down on the ground again. Stroud picks it up. Ball is out again. They go right to it. Rodgers keeps. He goes to his vet. And knocks it through. Stroud in trouble. Finds a place to go and he's picked. Eccles has got it. Protection. Aired out. Downfield. Austin, contact, and no flag. Rodgers, ball's knocked out of his hand. Shouldn't punt. And now another miss on the snap. What is going on from Hawaii? Down in 12. Rodgers, time runs out. Ball is out. It's picked up by the Texans and Sheldon Rankins. They're down in 4. First down, and there he is again. What a night for Christian Kirk. Ball back outside the 10 as Marks has his first 100-yard game and takes it into the end zone for a touchdown.
If he's let go, there'll be a lot of suitors knocking on his door for that as well.
And it's a touchdown, Texans.
Alright guys, and we're wrapping things up here. We did see the Texans absolutely demolish the Steelers with a big-time fourth quarter, putting up 23 points to hand them their 7th consecutive playoff loss and driving Mike Tomlin out of Pittsburgh. There's, again, a lot of speculation over what happened, but again, you look at the history of the Steelers, and I think we can say that Mike Tomlin just wanted to get out of there. I mean, I think that's a fair assessment to make. Realistically, though, I think there's something else going on, because that's usually how it goes on. But anyway, I'm not going to speculate too much on that. Texans, though, with this win, it's their 3rd straight season winning a playoff game, their first ever road playoff win. Prior to this, they'd lost 6 straight, including back-to-back years in the divisional round that again saw them get sent home. This year, it'll be a little bit of the same as they'll be heading to Foxborough on Sunday in the 3 o'clock game to play against Patriots, and I think some pretty adverse weather. We'll look at it again as the week goes along, especially for the predictions on Friday. But for sure, that is something to look at if you guys. I guess it's on Sunday, but yeah. That'll be very interesting to watch here for the Texans, and they'll be heading there. A big time win from them. Again, a lot of things you expected from them in this game. Again, offensively, there were a lot of issues, but defensively, I mean, they were lights out as you expected them to be. Took care of business. 3rd straight year with a playoff win. I think that's the first time they've ever done that, something like that in franchise history. Also, sets the franchise record with consecutive wins, again, not in the regular season, but 10 straight. First time they've gotten double-digit wins, too. Again, great for the Texans here. We'll talk a lot more, again, here for the divisional round coming up, because, again, Texans have an opportunity for the first time in their team's history to go to the AFC Conference Championship. Again, the only team in the NFL, I understand they're the newest franchise, that has not gone to the, conference championship. So that, again, would be major for them. But there needs CJ Stroud to play a lot better. Again, he was very, very good with his touch and his timing in this game. I think that's something that does kind of go out of whack with this one, because he did fumble 3 times or twice, something like that, and had a really bad interception in the red zone. He made a lot of crucial mistakes in this game, but overall, again, you look outside of that, which, again, it's a lot to look out of. He played a very solid game, guys. A lot of timing, consistency. Again, CJ Stroud, you can talk all about how the past 2 regular seasons he really hasn't been that great, but the fact that, again, in the playoffs he shows up in terms of his, elevated play is huge. I understand in this game he probably would have lost in the game if their defense didn't play out of their minds, but at the same time, I mean, again, you take away those issues, and this is a game that can elevate your team as a whole to win. But honestly, guys, you look at this team this year, again, I wouldn't say unlike the past couple years, but CJ Stroud might not need to really, again, I mean, he's going to need to play well, but they can kind of get away with some of his issues. Again, he won't be able to do that next week for sure, but again, there are definitely some instances where, again, I think he could definitely, again, 1 turnover or 2 won't hurt, end the game. Very encouraging was the running game. I understand that the Steelers defense at times has been one of the worst run defenses in the league. That was more of the same. In this game, Woody Marks with that 20-yard run you guys saw towards the middle of that highlight. I wanted to show that because that was, again, an absolutely gaping hole. Woody Marks is not a guy, at least this season, that's really shown to be any sort of a threat as a running back. Nothing, again, trying to backhand his not trying to give him a backhand comment or anything, but that's just kind of how it's looked this year. And the fact that in this game, especially on film, he was just getting absolutely massive holes and just blowing by through them just shows elevated confidence, the confidence he has in himself, which is awesome. And also the fact that he was just playing really well. And again, the offensive line obviously gets all the credit there. Nick Chubb also stabilized, again, the offense both 48 rushing yards. The rushing offense in the first half, really was what kept the offense afloat despite, again, a lot of the issues you saw. Christian Kirk had himself a game, 8 for 144, touchdown, a 46-yard catch and run. I think he had another big play, too. He was just out there balling out. He was getting wide open a lot. Again, a lot of the linemen, they put him in as credit to, is it Nick Caley? Who knows? He did his stuff there. That's not true. Texans OC. It is freaking Nick Caley. Yeah, good job, bro. Jaden Higgins on tape. It was a lot of the same stuff we've seen from earlier in the year, so I'm not gonna really get too deep into that. Nico Collins, he kind of got locked up by it was, I guess, a little bit Jalen Ramsey, but they really just kind of tried to stack him up there, and he couldn't stack off the create a lot stack the corner really off the line a lot in this one either. Tight ends, neither one of them really did a lot, but again, they were decent as run blocking from what I saw. I didn't really look too deep into that, but they looked pretty solid. Honestly, guys, this offense very lackluster performance, but again, the fact they put up 23 in the fourth quarter was a major reason for their success. Probably good to mention, guys, the Texans did score 2 defensive touchdowns. There was some stat they had for the NFL history. Again, it's this defense. They're sitting in history every week. Azeez Al-Shaair was absolutely lightning against the run. Jalen Petrie, Kalen Bullock, probably their best combined games of the season, which, again, is definitely a lot to say there. Kamari Lassiter had his best game of the season as well. I mean, I think it's very easy to say that. I think he maybe have given up 2 catches, and he got targeted like 5 times. He had himself a game. Derek Stingley really didn't Again, didn't get much action this one as it usually is. Sean Rankins had the scoop and score. Great for him. Obviously, the interception by the pick six by Kalen Bullock also there. Other than that, for this defense, not too much to talk about. We know how good they are. We know, again, they're just going to beat you because they're better than you, and that's what happened. Again, Kyrie Fairbairn kind of blew it with that missed extra point there at the end, which would have made it a 4-score win. For the Steelers, we all know about the Mike Tomlin instance. We're going to talk a lot more about that probably tomorrow for the power rankings, or Thursday, whenever I put that out. Really, again, the biggest shift here with this team is that I won't say they're fed up, but there's definitely change that needs to happen. Again, they've now tied an NFL record with 7 straight playoff losses. They haven't won a playoff game since 2017, despite having a record of at or above 500 the past 20 years. Or not 20 years, since Mike Tomlin showed up. The fact, again, that's the case, and this team, again, hasn't really had the playoffs, any playoff success, or they haven't had any playoff success since 2017, is a major, again, hole in this team. And I think there's a lot of things they do need to fix. It might even start with them, losing a lot of games next year. Aaron Rodgers, he looked old in this game. I will say the 4 sacks he took were, again, honestly advised. Again, a lot of these receivers really weren't getting open, in any of the explosive plays, if there were any, came when he held on the ball for longer, which, again, usually is the case with Aaron Rodgers this season. But, again, the function of this offense was completely broken. You guys saw 175 yards is the least they've had in a playoff game since 1947, if I'm not mistaken. They just straight up couldn't move the ball. And, again, I talked about this with the Chargers, who also fired Greg Roman. The worst thing that position your team can be in is when your offense literally can't move the football. If that is the case, it is extremely, and I mean extremely hard to have any sort of confidence in your team. And again, it's the worst feeling to have as a franchise. So just keep that in mind there with this one. That was really tough to watch. Again, Kenneth Gainwell really wasn't utilized a lot in this game, really the right way. He got like 10 touches and maybe like 6 real opportunities. It was kind of a wish-washy game from him. They're probably their most consistent guy outside of DK, who got locked up in this game. Jalen Warren only on 12 carries. It kind of took him out of the game. The offensive line got completely toasted. You guys saw Isaac Salamalu got absolutely just destroyed by Sheldon Rankins on that play. That was just a tough scene to watch there. Defensively, you guys saw Patrick Queen out there. Nothing notable to talk about him with. Their entire secondary kind of gave me a mixed bag. I thought the fact that, again, they were somewhat decent in preventing, again, big plays, despite, again, the Christian Kirk plays. It's probably the best thing I saw. Derek Harmon had a very good game, very encouraging, again, with his injuries. Again, everything that's happened to him. Again, very encouraging performance here in the playoffs. I'll be interested to see what we can do next year. Brandon Eccles was pretty solid. Asante Samuel kind of didn't really play a ton. Jack Sawyer, Keanu Benton, 2 other young dudes, both had pretty solid games. Again, they did force 2 fumbles and got an interception, so that was pretty cool. But, again, despite this defense forcing turnovers, there's definitely something left on the field, especially late in this game. It kind of felt like floodgates open. But other than that, guys, I don't have really too much else to get in with this one. It kind of, again, the fourth quarter kind of blew this thing open. The fact that the Steelers offense averaged 3.1 yards per play to, again, a pretty mediocre 6.2 for the Texans. Kind of tells you the difference in this one. Again, Texans realistically offensively got to be pretty encouraged with their numbers, despite, again, the 3 turnovers, again, which is really the difference in this one. But again, hats off to the Texans defense being the best defense in the league. Steelers, you got a lot of questions this offseason that probably won't be answered. It'll be very interesting to see what happens with them. We'll get more, again, into their, again, send-off before we talk about them, again, sometime mid to late February. But other than that, that's all I have from you guys here. Hope you guys enjoyed Wildcard Weekend. Again, this has already been an insanely long one. I wanted to give you guys in-depth breakdowns of all these games, though, because it is the playoffs. I'll, again, see you all for the power rankings of the divisional round, which, again, will include every single team that has participated in the playoffs up to this point, as well as in the 1 seeds. That'll be going on probably on Wednesday, tomorrow or Thursday. Then I'll, again, have the predictions for the divisional round on Friday. But other than that, guys, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll see y'all for the power rankings sometime soon. Again, it's playoff season.
De'Aaron Hill Jr. is the running back. The quick pass is intercepted.